broadcast were at the center of the training. These tools are being integrated into media houses to assist in research, audio enhancement, and digital media operations. Leading the session, resource person Lawal Ahmed focused heavily on the art of prompt engineering. He demonstrated how journalists and producers can achieve high-quality results by mastering the skills of giving AI tools precise and effective instructions.
To back, and then what you do there. Okay. The idea behind this is that they are going to develop robots that will take over the job. So all this tracking movement that I recorded, or whatever you do, to ensure that that's fixed, okay, is now going to be pushed into the brain, the knowledge base of that robot, so that when eventually it's created, if it is assigned to do this task, it will do it even better.
The training included hand-on practicals where attendees explored AI applications in script writing, content planning, and overall newsroom efficiency. Participants described the workshop as a timely intervention, noting that the rise of artificial intelligence is fundamentally reshaping modern journalism. Representing Alu Tv Nigeria, Naziru Alajisani and Jamilu Musa Maishanu were among those who successfully attended the course, ready to implement these technologies in their daily reportage. Reporting for Alu TV News, I am Naziru Alajisani.
During the week under review, we also brought to you that in our strategic move to bolster irrigation farming, the Sokoto State government has commenced the distribution of subsidized fertilizer. The exercise was officially launched in Gwadabawa local government area under the supervision of the Gwadabawa coordinator, Professor Attahiru Ahmad Sifawa. Ibrahim Ahmad Aikan Allah has the rest of the story.
While performing the flag of Professor Sifa urged farmers to utilize the commodity judiciously to achieve the desired yields. He reaffirmed Governor Ahmed Aliu's commitment to transforming the state's agricultural sector and ensuring food sufficiency.
So, Alhamdulillah, as you can see, the flag of the sales of dry season fertilizer at subsidized rate, courtesy of His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Ali Sokoto, has successfully been flagged up in Gwadabawa, and Alhamdulillah, so far so good. The sales went on very well without any hitch.
Commending the initiative, the chairman of Gwadabawa local government area, Ibrahim Aliu Kamaru, noted that the subsidy will serve as a critical lifeline for local farmers and the community's economy. Under the current pricing structure, a bag of urea fertilizer is paid at subsidized rate of 19,000 naira, while NPK fertilizer will be sold at 18,000 naira. The distribution is expected to reach all polling units within the local government to ensure seamless and fair process for every farmer. Ibrahim Ahmad Aikin Allah, Alu TV News.
On the week, we also reported to you that the All Progressives Congress APC House of Assembly Screening Committee for Sokoto State has screened 30 aspirants shortlisted by the party to contest for the state constituency seat ahead of the 2027 general elections. Our correspondent Jamilu Musa Maishanu reported that the screening exercise was conducted peacefully, with party officials expressing optimism over the APC's chances in the forthcoming elections. This report.
Speaking during the screening exercise, chairman of the committee, Hadi Ukasha Tugumel, said the exercise was aimed at ensuring the emergence of credible candidates capable of leading the party to victory in the forthcoming elections. Okasha explained that the committee will carry out its responsibilities in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and that of the APC, as well as electoral guidelines. He commended what he described as the spirit of consensus and unity among party members in Sokoto State, noting that the peaceful atmosphere and loyalty demonstrated by stakeholders had greatly assisted the committee in effectively discharge its assignment.
Bona fide citizens of Nigeria, one, and they are of sound mind and body. and they have the minimum qualification required, which is at least a secondary school cert or its equivalent.
The Speaker of the Sokoto State House of Assembly, Honorable Tukur Balabo Dinga, who was among those screened, expressed satisfaction with the transparent and lawful manner in which the committee conducted the exercise. He reaffirmed the commitment of the APC members in the state toward ensuring the party's victory at both the state and national levels during the 2027 general elections.
We're highly satisfied with the conduct of the screening. Me and my other colleagues that were just screened. We have gone through the vigorous screening, and that it showed that APC is ready, and they are ready to make sure that all the aspirants were screened in line with the provision of the Electoral Act.
Receiving members of the screening committee, the Sokoto State Chairman of the APC, Haruna Gobir Adia, attributed the peaceful conduct of party affairs in the state to the leadership style of Senator Aliyu Magatakardawa Mokko and Governor Ahmad Ali Sokoto. Adia assured the committee of the party's continued support toward securing a second term for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
As you can see by yourselves, the screening is going on smoothly and well, and we thank God for that.
Some of the aspirants who spoke after the screening appreciated Governor Ahmad Aliyu Sokoto and Senator Aliyu Magatakardawa Mokko for the confidence reposed in them through the opportunity granted to contest under the platform of the APC. They pledged to intensify effort towards strengthening the party and ensuring its success across Sokoto State and Nigeria at large. Jamilu Musa Maishanu, Alu TV News.
However, we also brought to you that as the second batch of Sokoto State pilgrims arrived at Prince Mohammed bin Abdulaziz International Airport in Medina, the Sokoto State government and the State Pilgrim Welfare Agency intensified efforts to ensure the welfare, comfort, and smooth coordination of pilgrims for a successful 2026 Hajj operations. Abdrashid Wadata Buhari reported from Medina that officials of the agency had continued to supervise accommodation, feeding, and transportation arrangements for the newly arrived pilgrims to enable them settle quickly and begin their religious activities without difficulties. This report.
As part of measures aimed at ensuring hitch-free operations, the head of Da'wah of the Sokoto State Pilgrims Welfare Agency, Sheikh Yahuza Shehu Tambol, paid a visit to Al-Mashriq Al-Dhahabiyya, the company responsible for handling visa services and other logistics for Nigerian pilgrims through various pilgrims welfare agencies. The Da'wah leader also visited the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Nahkon Hajj Mission Office in Medina, where discussions centered on strengthening coordination, pilgrims' welfare, and other necessary arrangements to ensure the smooth conduct of the pilgrimage. Meanwhile, the pilgrims who arrived in Medina were successfully conveyed to their hotels, where they were provided with accommodation and meals shortly after arrival. Some of the intending pilgrims expressed appreciation to the Sokoto State Government and the State Pilgrims Welfare Agency for the level of preparations and support being provided, describing the arrangement as satisfactory and encouraging. Reporting from Madinatul Munawwara, Abdrashid Wadata Buhari.
However, we also brought to you that the Sokoto State House of Assembly has adopted a resolution calling on Sokoto State government to urgently remodel 3 Jum'at mosques located in Yabo local government area. The resolution followed a motion presented on the floor of the House by the member representing Yabo constituency, Abubakar Shehu Yabo, who drew the attention of lawmakers to the deplorable condition of the Jum'at Mosque in Shabra, Magachim Marafa, and Rugar Iya communities. Our legislative correspondent Jamilu Musa Meshanu reported from the State House of Assembly.
Moving the motion during plenary, the lawmaker explained that the mosques had not undergone renovation since their constructions, leaving the structure in a deteriorated condition with leaking roofs, cracked walls, and damaged floors. According to him, the poor condition of the worshiping center has continued to make the conduct of Jumu'at prayers difficult and uncomfortable for worshippers in the affected communities.
Considering the growing population of the area, during Jumu'at prayers, the 3 mosques will be overcrowded. Therefore, and considering the present administration under the able leadership of His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Ali FCNA, in his quest to promote Islam, decided to come up with this motion, and I pray to this honorable house to call on the state government to consider the remodeling of 3 Jumu'at mosques at Shabra, Rugaiya, and Magachim Marafa to provide conducive atmosphere for the worshippers.
Lawmakers who contributed during the deliberation unanimously supported the motion, describing the rehabilitation of the mosques as timely and necessary in view of the Sokoto state government's commitment to promoting Islamic development and religious activities across the state. The lawmakers noted that the administration of Ahmad Aliyu Sokoto, through its 9-point SMART agenda, had continued to prioritize projects aimed at improving the welfare of citizens and supporting religious institutions. Delivering his ruling, the Speaker of the House, Tukur Balabo Dinga, announced the House resolution calling the state government to remodel the 3 Jumu'at mosques in Yabo local government area in order to provide a more conducive atmosphere for worshippers. From Sokoto State House of Assembly, Jamilu Musa Meshanu, Alu TV News.
On the week, we also brought to you that in a move aimed at improving infrastructure and enhancing urban development, the Sokoto State government has approved the sum of over 2.2 billion naira for the rehabilitation of 38 major township roads across the state capital. The State Commissioner for Lands and Housing, Nasiru Aliu Danzuhu, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the second State Executive Council meeting of the year, presided over by Governor Ahmed Aliyu. Our Government House correspondent, Nasir Abubakar Kiri, will tell us the details.
Barrister Danzuhu, who also doubles as the chairman of the briefing committee, said the contract awarded to Roads Nigeria was aimed at addressing potholes and putting metropolitan roads in proper condition. Other approved projects, according to the commissioner, include additional structures at the ongoing protocol terminal of the Sultan Abubakar III International Airport, Sokoto, as well as the general fencing of the Wamo Livestock Service Center.
36 number of roads has been identified, and the contract was awarded to MS Roads Nigeria Limited at the official cost of 2.2 billion. Similarly, the State Executive Council approved the carrying out of additional work at the ongoing construction of Sultan Abubakar International Airport Protocol Terminal.
The State Commissioner for Youth and Sport Development, Engineer Mustafa Muhammad Kofar Marke, said the council had also approved the total rehabilitation of the Wamoko NYSC orientation camp. The commissioner further announced the council's approval of contracts for the production of the 2026 calendars and diaries awarded to Alabaina Printing Services at the cost of over 67 million naira and 71 million naira respectively. As part of efforts to improve financial integrity and transparency, The State Commissioner for Finance, Muhammad Jabi Shagari, said the meeting approved the Sokoto State's participation alongside other 35 states of the Federation in adopting the new FARC infrastructure fiscal guidelines. Shagari further explained that the Council also approved the renovation of the Kasara International Conference Center awarded to MS Pashigi Nigeria Limited.
Some damage because it's exposed to open spaces, in fact, and it's already put into use for so many international purposes. And so the contract was awarded to MS Pichiki Investment, and our contract amount of 733,273,689 naira 50 kobo to renovate the center.
Barely 2 years after the massive procurement of vehicles for the Sokoto State Transport Authority (SSTA), the state-owned transport company has generated over 500 billion naira in revenue. The State Commissioner for Transport, Balako Kani, who disclosed this to Government House correspondents, said the meeting also approved the purchase of 6 additional buses from the generated funds. Other procurement, according to Kokani, include the purchase of 2 payloaders for the Ministry of Environment, awarded to MS Khalifa Motors at the cost of over 340 million naira, as well as 6 convoy bulletproof vehicles for the governor, awarded to MS Nabonkali Motors at the cost of over 1.46 billion naira. Speaking while opening the meeting, the chairman of the council, Governor Ahmad Aliyu, charged the cabinet members to redouble their efforts towards achieving the administration's 9-point smart, innovative agenda.
Employ you to do your best within your line of schedules so that together the administration will continue to implement impactful projects that will drive developments across the states. Therefore, members need to redouble efforts to consolidate the achievements so far made.
Reporting from Government House, Sokoto, I am Nasir Abubakar Kiri.
And now on health, we reported to you that the Sokoto State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Faruk Umar Abubakar, has clarified issues surrounding the suspension of allowances for some clinical students in the state. The commissioner explained that out of the 150 students affected, those with genuine complaints have been advised to submit written applications to the ministry for proper verification of their records and necessary actions. The report. The Commissioner, Dr. Faruk Umar Abubakar, said that decision followed findings from an investigation conducted by the Ministry of Finance in collaboration with the Audit Committee during the annual staff verification exercise, where some beneficiaries failed to appear for screening.
The clinical students are only meant for clinical when you are a student. And another thing we noticed, some of the students, they could not measure up in their respective institutions. Some of them changed their course to other departments, but they continue to draw these allowances. Some they could not, they were withdrawn, and they continue to draw these allowances. So all these are some of the cumulative factors. And this student, and some of them, after their training, they now proceed for their internship. Internship, they usually enjoy or draw level 10. The medical doctors, pharmacists, medical lab scientists, whatever they are doing, they are placed on grade level 8, 10, and 9 respectively, and they continue to draw the salaries on this basis. So there is nothing wrong for what the Ministry of Finance and Audit does. If you are not there, your name should be removed.
He explained that the Audit Committee subsequently forwarded its report to the Ministry of Health for further investigation and necessary action. According to the Commissioner, the investigation uncovered several irregularities that led to the suspension of the allowances, including cases of individuals who continued receiving internship allowances after completing their internship programs, those currently serving under the National Youth Service Corps, and others who had already secured permanent employment. Dr. Farouk further revealed that the payment of the allowances had initially been suspended by the previous administration, but was later revived under the administration of Governor Ahmed Aliyu to support eligible clinical and internship students across the state.
I have just given approval for over 4 million naira to renovate the identify houses and the specialists where they can be used. So that by the time we conclude that and we got relative approval, any indigenous that has graduated will remain in Sokoto and do his internship. Then we'll continue to enjoy relative allowances. The question of you are receiving our clinical allowance, you also go to other facilities to do an internship, that should be in the first supplement. We are working to stop that because we need them and we have make adequate arrangement with the specialists. We have relative number of consultants. About 9 of consultants are visiting the specialist every month.
The commissioner also highlighted measures introduced by the ministry to improve internship training for students, including arrangements for accommodation at the renovated residential quarters within Specialist Hospital Sokoto, as approved by the governor and to be implemented by the Ministry of Health. Dr. Farouk called on all health professionals in the state to strictly adhere to established rules and regulations in line with the 9-point SMART agenda of Governor Ahmed Aliyu, aimed at repositioning the health sector in Sokoto State. During the week, we also reported to you that more than 20,000 supporters of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), the People's Democratic Party (PDP), as well as several youth and social media groups from the 11 wards of Kebbi local government area had defected to the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) in the state. The defectors were received by an APC chieftain in the state and Director of Finance at the Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Alhaji Kasimu Dogondaji, alongside the Chairman of Kebbi Local Government Area and State Algon Chairman, Alhaji Abbashehu Tambuwal, and the Special Advisor on Community Development, Alhaji Garba Aliyu Maitumbi Kebbi. Aminu Al-Husseini Amanawa reports.
Speaking while receiving the defectors, Alhaji Kasimu Dogondaji commended their leadership for what he described as the right decision to join the largest political party in Africa. According to him, the mass defection clearly demonstrated confidence in APC manifesto and the leadership style of Sokoto State Governor Dr. Ahmad Ali Sokoto, as well as leader of APC in the state, Senator Aliyu Magatakar Dawamako. He assured the new members that they will enjoy equal treatment, support and opportunities alongside existing members of the APC. Also speaking, the state Algon chairman, who is also the aspirant for the House of Representatives seat for the Tambol Kebbi federal constituency, Alhaji Abbashehu Tambuwal, assured the defectors that if elected, he will deliver more democratic dividends and prioritize their welfare. The Special Advisor on Community Development, Alhaji Garba Aliyu Maitumbi, stated that the APC remains the only political party in Nigeria with credible leadership and candidates capable of moving the country forward. He urged the defectors to see themselves as bona fide members of the party. Chairman of Kebbi Local Government, Alhaji Musa Garba Kuchi, called on eligible voters in the area to obtain their permanent voter cards during the ongoing voter registration exercise being conducted by the INEC. He also used the occasion to highlight what he described as the remarkable achievements of the Ahmad Ali-led administration, stressing that the people of the area will reciprocate the administration's gesture during the future elections. Some defectors, in their separate remarks, assured the party leadership of their commitment to work around the clock towards ensuring APC's victory at all levels. The event was attended by the Secretary of Kebbi Local Government, Shamsuddin Omar Meakwei, councillors, directors of the local government and other APC stakeholders. Aminu Al-Hussein Amanawa, Alu TV News.
However, during the week, we also brought to you that our committees constituted by Governor Ahmed Aliyu Sokoto to assess the level of damage caused by the recent fire outbreak at Shagonguru Market and Sokoto Central Motor Parks has commenced the verification of traders. Naziru Alhaji Sani reported that this is the move towards determining the next line of intervention for the victims. This report.
The administration of Ahmed Ali Sokoto has continued to demonstrate concern for the residents affected by calamities across the state. In recent times, whenever fire outbreaks destroy markets and business centers, the governor often visits the affected areas to sympathize with victims and subsequently set up committees to assess the level of damage and recommend necessary support for those affected. The recent fire incident at Shagongoro in Sokoto Old Market destroyed about 58 shops, while another outbreak at Sokoto Motor Park affected about 38 shops, leaving many traders counting their losses. Speaking during the verification exercise, the chairman of the committee, Barrister Ibrahim Gandhi Umar, said the exercise was aimed at identifying the legitimate owners of the affected shops to ensure transparency in the intervention process. At Sokoto Central Motor Park, the chairman reaffirmed the committee's commitment to carrying out the assignment with fairness and justice in line with the directive of the Sokoto state government.
The committee was constituted by the governor resulting from the inferno and the waterfall. We visited the two places and saw for ourselves the extent of damages, the loss and the losses of and the victims. We tried the urge about the population to the victims, and we told them that this committee is to find out.
He assured the victims that outcome of the verification exercise will guide appropriate intervention for those genuinely affected. The exercise further reflects the commitment of Sokoto state government to supporting citizens during difficult times and helping affected traders rebuild their businesses. Naziru Alhaji Sani, Alu TV News.
Also in the week, we brought to you that the Sokoto State House of Assembly has passed a bill seeking to amend the 2026 appropriation law to enable the state government participate in the state discounting program aimed at financing critical infrastructure development across the state. The passage of the bill forwarded deliberations during plenary presided over by the Speaker of the House, Tukur Balabodinga, who also chaired the Committee of the Whole, where lawmakers considered and adopted the amendment. Our legislative correspondent, Jamilu Musa Meshan, reports.
According to the majority leader of the House, under the arrangement, a total sum of 252 billion naira will be deducted monthly from the allocation due to states from the federal account for a period of 1 year as saving contribution under the program. He explained that from May 2026, participating states will become eligible to access up to 84 billion naira in promissory notes at a negotiable interest rate of 18% for the execution of critical infrastructural projects. The lawmaker further noted that in line with the provision of the Sokoto State Fiscal Responsibility Law and other extant regulations, there was the need to amend the approved 2026 budget to accommodate the financing arrangement and ensure proper budgetary compliance.
In order to make a contribution, each monthly contribution, so that each state will now benefit from 84 billion naira in order to finance some of the most important infrastructural projects that are existing in each state.
Following extensive deliberation at the Committee of the Whole, the House unanimously resolved to favor the Sokoto State in the state discounting program from May 2026 to April 2027. The lawmakers also approved the amendment of the 2026 appropriation law to enable the state access the sum of 84 billion naira through promissory notes for infrastructural development across Sokoto states. The bill subsequently scaled second and third reading before its final passage by the House. Jamilu Musa Meshanu, Alu TV News.
Still from the State House of Assembly, we reported to you that the Sokoto State House of Assembly has been urged to take decisive action to address the deteriorating infrastructure and life-threatening erosion affecting communities in Raba local government area. A motion presented during the plenary session called for immediate construction of critical bridges to prevent further loss of lives and property. Ukasha Tusani reports.
In a move aimed at prioritizing the safety and socio-economic well-being of his constituents, Honorable Abdullahi Zakari, representing Raba constituency, moved a motion for the construction of 2 vital bridges in the area. The lawmaker expressed deep concern over what he described as rampant loss of lives and property caused by massive erosion channels at Ramin Subhana and Lambar Korea junction.
The existence of these 2 deep holes poses seriously danger to the people of the affected communities, particularly during the rainy season, which is extremely difficult. Consequently, residents, especially women, children, and the farmers, are exposed to the risk of accident.
According to Zakari, the affected areas pose serious danger, particularly during the rainy season, to farmers, women, and children attempting to cross. The motion received overwhelming support from several lawmakers who expressed solidarity with the affected communities and highlighted the hardship being faced by residents due to the dilapidated condition of the roads and bridges. The lawmakers also urged the Sokoto state government to intervene and prioritize the necessary repairs. Following deliberations, the Speaker of the House, Honorable Tukur Balabo Denga, called on the Sokoto state government to review the proposed renovation project in order to improve the well-being of the affected communities. In another development, the majority leader of the House announced that the Assembly will proceed on recess beginning Friday, May 15, 2026. He stated that the plenary sessions are expected to resume on Tuesday, June 16, 2026, after the conclusion of the 4th quarter legislative activities.
And to resume plenary sitting on Tuesday, 16th June 2026 by 10 o'clock in the morning, inshallah.
The recess is expected to enable members to participate in the 2026 Hajj Pilgrim and celebrate the Eid al-Kabir festivities. Kasha Tusani, Alu TV News.
During the week, we also brought to you that the Sokoto state government says it is establishing additional special schools to enhance spatial inclusion and improve access to education for people living with disabilities across the state. Governor Ahmed Aliyu thus closed this while flagging off the distribution of Braille, Qur'ans, manual wheelchairs, and food items to persons with special needs, donated by the Qatar Charity Foundation. Nasser Abubakar Kiri reports.
Speaking during the event, Governor Ahmed Aliyu said the gesture reflects his administration's commitment to welfare, education, and empowerment of persons with disabilities in the state. The governor commended the Qatar Charity Foundation for supporting vulnerable groups and pledged continued partnership with development and charitable organizations working to improve the welfare of persons with disabilities. Governor Ahmed Aliyu highlighted several interventions introduced by his administration, including the distribution of 1,000 hand cycles, food items, and cash assistance aimed at promoting self-reliance among persons with disabilities. He also disclosed that the monthly allowance for persons with disabilities had been increased from 6,500 naira to 10,000 naira.
And this includes the distribution of 1,000 hand cycles to physically challenged persons, the distribution of food items and cash assistance to physically challenged persons to encourage self-reliance, the illustration and the upward review of the monthly allowances for physically challenged persons from 6,500 to 10,000 naira each.
He further listed another interventions to include the donation of an 18-seater bus, the distribution of textile materials during Eid al-Fitr, and establishment of Ramadan feeding centers across the 23 local government areas of the state. According to him, no fewer than 6,179 physically challenged persons are currently benefiting from the monthly allowance scheme. To strengthen special education in the state, Governor Ahmad Aliyu announced plans to renovate and equip Abdurrashid Adisa Raji Special School, as well as establish a new special school for blind and visually impaired children to improve access to quality education. He also called on worthy individuals to complement government efforts in supporting vulnerable groups. The special advisor to the governor on people living with disabilities, Omar Masari Gobir, said the intervention demonstrates Governor Ahmad Aliyu's commitment to inclusive governance and ensuring that persons with disabilities have a voice in the state's development agenda. Speaking at the ceremony, representative of Qatar Charity Foundation Mujahid Abubakar said the organization was pleased to partner with the Sokoto state government in supporting persons with visual impairment. He explained that the donation formed part of the Qatar Charity's global mandate to promote dignity, education, and inclusion for vulnerable communities. Also speaking, the secretary to the state government, Muhammad Bello Sifawa, says the intervention reflects the administration's coordinated approach towards ensuring that no segment of society is marginalized. He noted that partnerships with organizations such as Qatar Charity would further strengthen the state's social protection programs and call for sustained collaboration among ministries, agencies, and disability community. In a goodwill message, the Sultan of Sokoto, represented by the Galadimangari Alhaji Aliyu At-Tahiru, congratulated Governor Ahmad Aliyu on the achievements recorded by his administration and urged him to sustain efforts aimed at improving the well-being of the people. He assured the governor of the traditional institutions' continued support and cooperation and prayed for a successful tenure. Highlights of the event included Quranic recitation, presentation of the items to beneficiaries, and vote of thanks. Reporting from Government House, Sokoto, I am Nasir Abubakar Kili.
During the week, we also brought to you that as the Sokoto State Pilgrims Welfare Agency successfully concluded the airlift of 2026 Hajj pilgrims from Sokoto to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the 2026 Amir al-Hajj has commended the remarkable achievement recorded throughout the exercise. The commendation came as the final batch of the state intending pilgrims, numbering 308, departed Sokoto for Medina at about 2:29 p.m., marking the successful completion of this year's Hajj airlift operation. Aminu Al-Husseini Amanawa was at the airport in our report.
Speaking to an announcement before the pilgrims' departure to Medina, the State Amir al-Hajj Alhaji Muhammadu Megaridin Gadi expressed satisfaction with the smooth corner of the airlift operation and commended the effort of the officials and stakeholders involved in the exercise.
Most importantly, we should thank God for the successes that we have so far achieved. All our pilgrims, about 2,000 plus of them, are already in Medina. The last flight is going to consist of about 300 pilgrims, most of them officials and some few other pilgrims. So we thank God for the successes so far recorded.
He also expressed satisfaction with the orderly conduct of the pilgrims and urged them to continue upholding the good image of Sokoto State and Nigeria while in the Holy Land. The chairman of the Sokoto State Pilgrims Welfare Agency, Alhaji Aliyu Musa, noted that the seamless exercise was made possible through proper planning, effective coordination, and dedication of officials and stakeholders involved in the Hajj operation.
There's no much challenges, so to say, but in every endeavor in life there must be challenges. But in this case, challenges are very minimal and we were able to overcome it.
Also speaking, the State Minister of Works, Barrister Bello Muhammad Gurenyo, advised the pilgrims to remain law-abiding, prayerful, and focus on the spiritual significance of the Hajj.
Appeal to pilgrims to conduct themselves in a good manner and be good ambassadors of Sokoto and Nigeria by extension. And I want to appeal to them to show devotion, to be prayerful for our nation.
He encouraged them to pray for lasting peace, unity and economic prosperity in Sokoto State and the country at large during their stay in Saudi Arabia. As our officials and intending pilgrims also commended the dedication and professionalism displayed by officials of the agency and other stakeholders who contributed to the success of the airlift operation.
State government, in collaboration with the State Pilgrims Welfare Agency, they have done a very good job, and we recorded 99% of excellence. I mean, the mark.
As Sokoto State rounds up the airlift of the intending pilgrims for this year's Hajj exercise, over 2,242 pilgrims have so far been successfully transported to the Holy Land by the Sokoto State Pilgrims Welfare Agency. Aminu Alusen Amanawa reporting for Alu TV News.
Well, with this report, we've come to the end of this weekly news review. On behalf of the news producer and production team, I remain Aisha Abdullahi Aminu, saying bye-bye for now.
North America was once an uninhabited wilderness where huge herds of big animals roamed. It was only about 15,000 years ago when the Columbian mammoths, bisons, saber-toothed cats, and giant ground sloths lived here. After that, the climate changed, and human hunters caused the extinction of most of the big mammals. Only a few species survived in the harsh deserts of southwestern USA and northern Mexico until recent days. The tough bighorn sheep belonged to them. They move easily in the rocky terrain, and they can survive with the minimum of food which they find in this environment. Today, the deserts are not shaking under the hooves of thousands of herbivores, but some animals which lived in that age are still present here. It is estimated that around 25 million years ago, one particular group of vipers started to thrive in North America, and they still dominate this continent. The rattlesnakes. After millions of years of evolution, they attained body structures which allowed them to become the most successful venomous snakes in this part of the world. Rattlesnakes are masters of hunting techniques, defense mechanisms, and breeding efficiency. The highest number of species lives in the desert areas, occurring from Arizona in the north to the dry highlands of central Mexico. A huge temperature differences between the day and night and the shortage of water are characteristic for this landscape, but the rattlesnakes are perfectly adapted for the life here. The most typical feature of rattlesnakes is the rattle. Its function was once to warn the big herbivores about the presence of a venomous snake so they don't step on it. This warning is still recognized by modern animals in the desert, and they will avoid getting close to the snake. The rattle is formed by hollow segments made of keratin. The snake gets a new segment by the alternation of scales at the tip of its tail after each shedding. When disturbed, the rattlesnake starts to move its tail, and the vibrations of segments create the typical rattling sound. The tail muscles of these snakes belong to the fastest in the animal kingdom, and they can perform a vibrating movement of 50 times per second. The young rattlesnakes are born only with one segment on their rattle, and they can't produce a sound with it. They need to wait until they shed for the first time to be able to use their defensive strategy effectively. The deserts where rattlesnakes thrive are home to a surprisingly high number of endemic organisms, especially plants. Probably the most famous desert of the southwestern North America is the Sonoran Desert. A huge saguaro cactus is the dominant of the landscape in many areas, and it doesn't grow anywhere else in the world. Saguaro can grow up to 15 meters in height, and it often lives longer than 150 years. These cacti stand in the country as silent watchers, and they resist every climate fluctuation in the desert. Inside every cactus, there is a huge reservoir of water, and in case of full capacity, a single plant can weigh up to 6 tons. The landscape is far from monotonous. Apart from saguaros, there are many other species of cacti and succulent plants in the Sonoran Desert. Sometimes an animal appears among the sporadic vegetation. Most of the species have their own way of how to survive in the harsh desert environment. Rattlesnakes are among those groups of vertebrates which really thrive here. The biggest and most common species of southwestern North America is the western diamondback rattlesnake. Occasionally, it can reach a length of 2 meters, and it is also known for its nervous nature. If it feels threatened, It usually stands up in a defensive position and starts to rattle loudly. This species is the perfect representative of rattlesnakes and the most well-known publicly in every area where it lives. The daily activity of rattlesnakes is mostly restricted to the early morning and late afternoon, when the temperatures are bearable for the cold-blooded reptiles. The time for hunting starts after the night comes. The western diamondback rattlesnake is an ambush predator, which waits for the prey to come close. To localize it precisely, the snake uses its thermoreceptors, which are the holes on the head in between the eyes and nasal cavities. Thermoreceptors detect infrared radiance, which is more intensive with increasing temperature. The rattlesnake is able to register warm-blooded prey even in the full darkness because the thermoreceptors are sensitive to temperature differences even smaller than 0.2 degrees Celsius. Not only the rattlesnakes are active during the night, the same applies for other specialized predators. Some of them also use venom to subdue their prey, like scorpions and tarantulas. Apart from these, there are others which hunt small prey and don't need any chemical weapons, like geckos and toads. The mornings are chilly in the desert, so the rattlesnakes are seeking places where they can gather the heat as fast as possible. The second most common big rattlesnake species in this part of the world is the black-tailed rattlesnake. It differs a lot in its behavior from the western diamondback rattlesnake. The black-tailed rattlesnake is very calm in most situations, and it even rarely uses the rattle to produce a warning sound. The individuals living in some areas on the border of Arizona and Mexico possess a beautiful color pattern with striking black patches. Western diamondback and black-tailed rattlesnake are generalists which inhabit various different desert habitats. One other common but smaller species of rattlesnake has perfectly adapted almost exclusively to life in the rocky areas. The coloration of the speckled rattlesnake helps it to blend with the surroundings. It is quite difficult to notice the presence of the snake among the rocks. Different populations of the species have very variable colors according to the type of rock where they live. The reddish individuals belong to the most prominent ones. The smaller size helps the speckled rattlesnakes to climb up in the bushes where they wait for their prey. This species of rattlesnake often shares its habitat with another beautifully colored reptile. The rocky terrain, combined with sandy soil and an abundance of cactus trees, is a domain for one of the few venomous lizards in the world. This is the Gila monster, an extraordinary reptile which spends most of its time hidden under the ground. Its overall activity per year, counted together, is equal to a time of only 3 weeks. When the Gila monster moves, it usually searches for food. Just like snakes, it flicks its tongue and tries to find any interesting smell. In the lower jaw, it has a true venom gland, and the venom gets on the victim's body during chewing through the grooves in sharp teeth. The strength of the Gila monster's jaws is incredible. If it bites something, it rarely lets it go. This lizard feeds on small vertebrates, but its most favorite food are reptile or bird eggs. The Gila monster really loves eggs, and despite its low activity throughout the year, it is able to locate such a rare feast as the nests, thanks to its excellent sense of smell. Only from 5 to 10 prey items are being found on average per year, so when the Gila monster has a chance, it can eat a portion equal to 1/3 of its body mass. After the feast, it will find a shelter and hide itself again for some time. Vast areas of Sonoran Desert are flat with terrain ranging from rocky to sandy. It is similar to the other deserts in the region, the Mojave Desert and the Chihuahuan Desert. Survival in the open habitat is very tricky for the animals because there are not enough places to hide when the temperatures are very high during the day. But even here, there are rattlesnake species which are thriving. On the first glimpse, the color of the Mojave rattlesnake may resemble a western diamondback rattlesnake. But it is smaller, usually even more nervous, and its venom is much stronger. The venom of this rattlesnake is very probably the strongest one among all rattlesnake species from the southwestern North America. The different populations of Mojave rattlesnakes have a variable amount of myotoxins and neurotoxins in their venom, and so far, the possible factors leading to that are not known. The very defensive nature of this species is probably caused by life in the open environment, where there is a higher danger from predators. Even the most harsh and hot areas have been inhabited by rattlesnakes. In fact, there is a specialist, the sidewinder. It has typical horns above its eyes, which distinguish it from other rattlesnakes in the region. This snake likes to be on the sandy soil and often digs itself under the surface. But during the day, the sand gets so hot that it could be really dangerous for a temperature-sensitive reptile. However, the sidewinder is perfectly adapted for living in this habitat. It crawls in a very unique way, sideways. Thanks to that, the whole surface of its belly is never exposed to hot sand at any one time. Therefore, the snake is not overheating. The light sandy color serves as good camouflage, and it also prevents the body of the animal from absorbing too much heat. Only one thing can reveal that sidewinder has been at a location. The special type of movement creates prints in the sand, which are very typical for this snake. The sidewinder is so specialized for living in its habitat that it can't move differently than sideways. In some areas of central and southeastern Arizona, the desert is colder and almost resembles a prairie. This habitat is perfect for a dwarf among rattlesnakes. The desert Massasauga. From an evolutionary point of view, it is so distant from other rattlesnakes belonging to the genus Crotalus that it was classified into a separate genus, Sistrurus. Snakes representing these two genera are the only ones in the world possessing a rattle. When Massasauga rattles, it resembles the sound of crickets rather than a strong warning. This snake grows to a maximum length of only about 50 centimeters. Massasauga are shy and try to avoid contact with any big animals. Because they are so small, they don't feed only on tiny vertebrates, but also on invertebrates, especially when they are young. The adults prey mostly on small mammals. The desert Massasauga is endangered in most areas where it lives. Arizona is not an exception, and it belongs to the rarest snakes in this state. The rainy season comes to Sonoran Desert during August, and the landscape gets greener. There are some bright colors around after long months as the plants start to flower. This part of the year has the highest activity of snakes. Rattlesnakes are not the only venomous snakes in the region. In fact, the most venomous snake of Arizona is the Sonoran coral snake. It grows to a maximum length of 1 meter, but it possesses a strong neurotoxin. This snake shows clearly that it is dangerous with its bright warning colors. Most animals react to that by keeping their distance. Apart from venomous species, the desert is inhabited by about 40 species of non-venomous snakes. The gopher snake is one of the most common and adaptable ones. Common king snakes are also quite abundant. This snake is a fearsome predator of rattlesnakes because it is immune to their venom. Some non-venomous snakes living in the areas with abundance of rattlesnakes use vibration of their tails as a defense mechanism. If the tail touches the ground, it may even make a rustling sound and resemble the famous warning of the desert. Many snakes come to the roads during the wet season. Most of them are very active in the late afternoon and during the night. The higher humidity lures out even species that would have been hidden in the shelter for a long time. After the darkness, the temperature falls quickly. To stay active and ready for hunting, snakes crawl on warm roads to absorb heat from the surface. but these are deadly dangerous places for them. This gopher snake is hissing loudly and vibrates its tail to copy the warning of a rattlesnake. This behavior may be effective during an encounter with a predator, but it doesn't help at all when a speeding car arrives. Most of rattlesnake species in Arizona often crawl on the roads during the night. They flatten their body and receive the heat. Even the endangered species, like the desert Massasauga, can be encountered on the roads in some areas. The life of all these snakes is in the hands of drivers. Sadly, a high number of rattlesnakes and other snakes die on the roads every night. Some people run over snakes on purpose, even though these reptiles are very visible on the road. The main reason is just a needless fear or simple hatred. Many snakes die slowly and in a lot of pain. The morning often reveals the sad reality on the desert roads during the wet season. Dozens of dead bodies and lost lives of reptiles, which should have been important for the ecosystem. It is estimated that during one season, thousands of snakes representing various species die on the roads in Arizona. Despite the fact that roads represent a huge danger, rattlesnakes are still thriving in the southwest of the USA. Some species are even more abundant in the vicinity of cities. Tiger rattlesnake has a very strong venom, similar to the one of the Mojave rattlesnake. It has typically a very small head compared to the rest of its body and a striped pattern on its skin. The numbers of tiger rattlesnakes are increasing in the urban areas at the periphery of Tucson in southern Arizona. The changes in the structure of rattlesnake populations living near people are a subject of study for the scientific team of Dr. Matt Good from the University of Arizona. This female tiger rattlesnake was caught last night so she can provide data for a long-term project focused on the relationship of the ecology of rattlesnakes and urbanization.
Have been carrying up into yesterday or the day before we had a female that the eggs inside.
After she is anesthetized, the researchers carefully measure her and implant a pit tag under the skin, which allow them to identify her easily if she will ever be captured again.
13.82.
Another way of identification will be the color of the rattle. Every snake gets a unique combination of colors and therefore is recognizable on first sight.
Well, maybe.
Really? We didn't have any. We also need more of the butterfly needle.
Yes. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do we? Yeah, for sure. So, up here. We got about 2.
After obtaining the valuable data, researchers wake the female up and then release her to the same place where they found her the last night.
This is what we came up with.
The fieldwork is done by passionate biology students like Alexis Cazares.
So I'm currently working on a project in Dr. Matt Good's lab, and it's focusing on the effects of urbanization on reptiles. So one of our study sites for the snake project that we're doing is at Stone Canyon, which is located in the Tortolita Mountains. And that site's basically a developing area. So the 3 main species that we're focusing on are the Crotalus atrox, the diamondback rattlesnake, Crotalus molosus, the blacktail, and Crotalus tigris, the tiger rattlesnake. We also do work on Gila monsters, and we capture any other snakes that we find. So one of the main projects that we're doing right now is mark recapture and collecting measurements. So each night we'll go out on the golf cart and in the car, and we'll do 2 laps, so 2 surveys around our site. 2 paths. The first is the road, the second is the golf cart path. So we go out every night during the week and then capture anything that we see. We'll collect temperature data such as the temps on the ground and humidity, and we'll also collect the location, so the UTMs in which we caught that snake, so we know where to return it the next time. And we'll bag all of the stuff we get, take it into the lab to process it the next day, where we will get body measurements, mass. We'll insert a pit tag for identification. If it's a rattlesnake, we paint their rattles so it's easy to find in the field, and collect all of that data in the lab. And then the next night we'll take it out to release it exactly where we found it. We're studying the effects of urbanization on these reptiles, and we would expect that the reptiles would be less abundant, or there would be a loss of biodiversity as people are building houses in these areas. But we've kind of found it to be the opposite. They're actually more abundant at this site, and we think it's because of the golf course. And we don't think that the houses are having too much of an effect, because the houses are really spread apart and there's still a lot of wild land around there. One of the most interesting results from this study has been the fact that the tiger rattlesnake diet has changed. Instead of eating more like smaller reptiles like lizards, they're eating larger rodents, and this may be because they're just more abundant around the golf course. So they have more food sources, so that doesn't seem to be a problem. In total, we're at about 1,300 tiger rattlesnakes, 600 diamondbacks, 300 blacktail rattlesnakes, and 336 Gila monsters. And this has been going on since 2002.
Rattlesnakes are not the only animals which thrive in the urban desert environment. It is also a favorite habitat for some of their predators, for example, the roadrunner. Some rattlesnakes can't live in the areas changed by human activities. These specialists inhabit only the wild and remote locations. The Huachuca Mountains are towering above the vast desert land on the border of Arizona and Mexico. The habitat here is not a desert anymore, but a dry, montane forest. numerous rattlesnake species are living secretly somewhere in these forests and rocky canyons. The ridge-nosed rattlesnake is one of the smallest rattlesnakes, and it is rarely found in lower altitudes than 1,200 meters above sea level. The distinctive ridges along each side of its nose, which are a series of upturned scales, are unique to this species. The adults hunt small vertebrates of the forest, but the young individuals prey also on big centipedes.